have to admit, when I saw the run sheet for today, I thought there was a mistake.
Oh, yeah.
Usually you have me diving into, white papers on quantum computing or supply chain logistics or the geopolitics of semiconductors. And today, you've handed me a stack of research on a French pop song.
It definitely looks like a hard left turn, doesn't it? But trust me, the semiconductors of the soul are just as complex.
Semiconductors of the soul. I like that. I'm going to steal that.
Yeah.
But okay, so we are talking about Françoise Hardy. The song is Mon Ami la Rose.
From the mid-'60s, yeah.
And if I just listen to it without looking at this terrifying stack of notes you've prepared, it sounds incredibly gentle, it's acoustic, it's whispery, it's
lovely.
It's the kind of thing you play while drinking tea and staring out a rainy window.
And that is exactly the trap. It's a sonic Trojan horse. You open the gates because the melody is so beautiful, but once it's inside, it deploys what one analysis calls brutal softness.
Brutal softness. Wow. That is a paradox right out of the gate.
It is. Because we aren't here to do music criticism. The sources I've pulled together, which, they range from existentialist commentaries to comparative theology, they all argue that this 3-minute track is actually a dense synthesis of Martin Heidegger, Jean-Paul Sartre,
Big names.
Henri Bergson, Albert Camus, and even medieval Islamic philosophy.
That is a heavy lineup for a song about a flower.
It's a heavy lineup for a doctoral thesis, let alone a pop song.
Yeah.
But the mission for this deep dive is to prove that Mon Ami la Rose isn't a story about botany. It's an ontological roadmap.
Okay.
It's trying to map out the very structure of human existence.
Ontology, the study of being, why we are here, and what it even means to be in the first place.
Precisely. The song uses the rose to dismantle the human ego. It takes you through birth, the illusion of time, the desperate trap of validation, and finally, inevitable disintegration. And it does all of that in a narrative that spans just 24 hours.
So let's peel back the petals here. The song is a monologue, right? The rose is speaking.
The rose is the narrator. And it starts with this incredible burst of optimism. It describes its own birth. It's bathed in the morning dew, it greets the sun, and it feels this surge of absolute power.
Right.
It claims, quite arrogantly really, that it is the most beautiful.
It feels permanent, which is relatable. I think we've all had those moments, maybe in your 20s or when you land a big promotion.
Or you're just having a really good hair day.
Yeah, exactly. Where you feel like a fixed point in the universe. Like, this is who I am now. I have arrived.
That's the feeling of completeness. The rose feels like it has conquered existence. But then the song pivots. And there's no storm, there is no gardener coming with shears, there is no dramatic external event.
It's true.
The rose just wakes up.
And it's old.
It's old, it's wilting. And by the next morning, it's gone. And so the central thesis we're exploring here is that the rose is us. The song is arguing that humans are not the protagonists of history we think we are. We are transient events.
We're happenings, not things. There's a specific line in the first verse that the research highlights as the key to this whole philosophy. The lyric is, On est bien peu de choses.
We are very little things.
Now, in casual conversation, that sounds like false modesty. Oh, shucks, I'm just a little flower. But the analysis says we shouldn't read it that way.
No, absolutely not. This isn't an etiquette thing. It's a measurement. It is an ontological fact. When the rose says we are very little things, it's confronting its true scale in the universe.
It's the moment the main character realizes they are actually an extra.
Yes, and this is where we run into Henri Bergson, the French philosopher.
Yeah.
Because the rose lives for one day, but to the rose, that day doesn't feel like a fast-forward montage, right? Bergson is crucial here because he breaks time into two different concepts. You have clock time, science time, seconds, minutes, hours. That's how we organize the world. But then you have what Bergson called durée, duration.
Which is how time feels from the inside.
Exactly. Think about the last time you were stuck in a dentist's waiting room. 10 minutes feels like an ice age.
Versus 10 minutes having dinner with your best friend.
Which just evaporates in a blink. Bergson argued that clock time is actually a spatial construct. It's artificial. Real time, the time we actually live in, is the continuous flow of experience.
So for the rose, the 24 hours isn't short in the way we think of it.
No, and the analysis makes a really profound point here. Time shouldn't be measured by length, but by intensity.
Intensity.
The rose goes through the full arc of existence. Birth, peak bloom, fading, and death in a single cycle.
So it lived complete life.
It did. It possessed the fullness of existence. You could be a human who lives to be 95, but if you spend 90 of those years on autopilot, zoned out, scrolling through your phone. Mm-hmm. Did you actually live longer than the rose?
Or did you just exist for more clock cycles?
That's the question.
That's an uncomfortable thing to think about. It suggests that a short life isn't necessarily a tragic one, provided the duration was rich.
It's a comforting thought, until you realize the trap the rose falls into. And this is where the song shifts from poetic to actually quite scary. Mm. Because the rose didn't just live its duration, it needed to be seen living.
This is the part that hit me hardest. The lyric is, Tu m'admirais hier et je serai poussière demain.
You admired me yesterday, and tomorrow I will be dust.
That is just devastating.
It's brutal, and it draws a direct line to Jean-Paul Sartre.
The existentialist.
The one and only. Sartre talked extensively about the look, or le regard. He believed that when we are alone, we are free. We're just pure consciousness. But the moment another person looks at us,
we solidify.
We become an object in their world.
We get a label. Beautiful, smart, successful, funny.
And the tragedy is, we crave that label. We want to be solidified. When the rose says, you admired me, it's talking about that feeling of being fixed in place. The admiration acts like a pin that holds the rose on the map of the universe. It makes the rose feel real.
I am admired, therefore I am.
Essentially.
Yeah.
But the song pairs that admiration immediately with dust. Why? Because the admiration is a lie. This is the trap of admiration the notes mention.
Right.
The source material has this fantastic phrase, admiration has no authority over time.
Admiration has no authority over time. I highlighted that 3 times in the notes.
It's such a powerful concept. You can have 1 million people admiring you. You can be the most famous person on earth. You can have statues built in your honor. But that collective gaze cannot stop your cells from degrading.
It can't stop the sun from setting.
It can't. So we build our identity on this external validation, this Sartrean look, thinking it gives us armor against death. But the armor is just a hologram.
It's not even a hologram, it's a distraction.
It is a distraction. The rose realizes that the transition from idle to dust isn't a catastrophe. It's just Tuesday. There is no war. There is no tragic accident.
Yeah.
Just the silent, boring, inevitable passage of time.
It's the banality of it that's terrifying. It just happens.
Truly. And speaking of dust, we need to dig into that word, poussière. In the song and in the philosophical analysis, it doesn't just mean dirt on the floor.
Okay, and this is where we bring in the heavy hitter, Martin Heidegger.
The heavyweight champion of existential dread.
I've always found Heidegger impossible to read, but the notes here link the rose's dust to Heidegger's concept of being towards death, which I have to say sounds like something a goth teenager would write on their notebook.
It does sound morbid, but it's actually incredibly structural. Sansum Todi. Heidegger argued that death isn't something that happens to us at the end of the movie. It isn't the credits rolling.
What is it then?
It's the screen itself. It's the boundary